I am going to use this as my full cover. So what I want to do is place it, and I can tell because on the other side there's a line here where these pictures meet. So for the outside of my book, I'm going to place it right here. Okay, so I'm going to lay down my cover flat, and before I use any glue, I'm going to fold it. Right. So I'm going to crease it. Right. So this is where Corinne talked about
scoring.
Right. And I'm going to do it over here. And it may move around a little bit. This is just so that I have an idea of where to place it. Right. So this is a lot like wrapping a present, except it's a really flat present.
A really flat present. Yeah. Those are sometimes the hardest to wrap.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the top and the bottom edge. And the other thing is that I have these folds right here now. And what I want to do is not completely cut out this little square, this little corner. I'm just going to cut one end.
You don't have to do this, right?
You don't have to do this.
This is only if you wanted to wrap your whole book with one image. And you said wrapping paper. You could totally use wrapping paper.
You could use wrapping paper. That's a great idea.
To make your background if you wanted to.
So now I have these flaps like this and like this. And instead of putting the glue on here, I'm going to put the glue on here.
Why?
Because this is more substantial, right? So while I'm
spreading
it's
the
like
glue
a
harder surface.
It's a harder surface.
Okay.
If I put the glue on here, by the time I get to this other end, this end might crinkle up.
Oh, interesting. And the book won't crinkle.
Yeah.
The book won't crinkle.
And the other thing is that I want to get glue right into this crease.
Right into this crease. Okay.
I'm going to do just a little bit. And again, do it like this. And you're not trying to cover everything because remember you'll spread it with your little page tool. And if you can help it, try not to get glue on your hands because it gets more complicated.
It does. Sometimes you get little pieces of paper stuck to your hands.
So here, another little piece. And you don't really need a lot of glue.
No.
And so I might even have too much
Too
here.
much glue.
So what I would do here is see when you get to the end, there's a lot of glue there. So I would take another piece and spread it on there.
Oh, okay.
For my extra.
And you're just giving like a thin layer all the way across.
Very thin.
And what if you don't have glue, but you want to do this? You want to coat your whole book. Could you just fold it and tape it on the inside?
You could just fold it and tape it. That's like a dust cover, right? When I was a kid, all of our school books, we would cover them with plastic in order to protect the covers. And the tape works just as well.
Okay.
So here you go. And, you know, things might move around a little bit. So I'm not going to worry too much. I'm also going to fold it like this in order to get the glue into all of the little creases, right? So I'm bending right there, pushing that down right where it was. And then the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to fold that and then get the glue all the way into that little fold. And I'm using the flat of my hand here. You can use your palm. Because this way, if my hand is a fist, I can put a little bit more pressure on here. And the other thing that I found is sometimes if you're pressing too hard and you're gluing something, you might tear your image, the thing that you want on there. So I put another piece of paper and I press on that one. Or I can also take, close your glue bottle, and I can use the glue bottle. Or what also works really well is a spoon.
Oh,
the
yeah,
back of a
the back
spoon.
of a spoon, especially a wooden spoon.
Yeah, especially a wooden spoon. And I have a few little creases in here, some little bubbles. I'm not worried about those.
No.
Right? You just move on. As it dries, it'll settle down.
So you're using that other sheet of paper as a protector?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I have everything on my cover, and I still have the inside. So now that we have this, see where I cut it? It's right to the edge there. And then the other thing that's going to happen here is right here, where the cover bends, this will create a little funny fold.
A pucker.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that right there. And the top and the bottom. Right, so now I have this, and then later on we have this. So I think, yeah, we can do that. All right, so now I'm going to glue this top and this bottom first, and then this top and this bottom next.
Okay. And this is something you could easily do with tape.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you were using tape, I would make myself a bunch of little pieces of tape to start with.
Yeah.
So that I have them like lined up on the side of my table.
Yeah, because it's much better to hold something down and already have a piece of tape ready to go. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. And right here you can put it on the magazine, but you can also put it on the inside cover, right? Because again, this part is stronger.
And you just use your finger there?
And I just use my finger. Right? And I know that now I have glue on my fingers.
Hands. Here's your scrap sheet.
Yeah, you have your scrap sheet, so you can do
clean
this,
them off that way.
like that. And fold it over. And if it really bothers you, you can go like this, and eventually it bunches up, and you can roll it right off. So now I've done that, and I'm actually going to, now that I know where these corners are, I am going to cut the other side.
Okay.
Like this. And right here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fold these flaps over each other. So you can choose to put these in and then fold this one over, or fold this one and then these.
Okay. But whatever you choose will be fine. There's no like right or wrong, really.
Right or wrong.
Okay.
And if you find that this little piece of paper is kind of bending, you can go back and cut out another little piece so it flares out a little bit. You know, and this might be something, if you're a smaller person, you may want some help if you're doing it this way. Right, cutting all those little pieces out, moving them to the side.
You could also just cut your piece so that it's a little bit smaller than your cover and not wrap it all the way around.
You can.
Right? Okay.
But I do have to say that by wrapping it all the way around, it won't pull up.
But we're going to put contact paper on it, right?
That's true. Good point. All right.
Which is like putting a full layer on there to keep it all safe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it locks it all in.
It locks it all in. Oh my goodness. if you're like me, you're probably cutting out way too many things.
Mhm.
So the other thing
So you have
that you're
more journals.
going to learn about is just that not everything you cut out is going to go in your collage, and that's okay, and you can kind of save things for the next collage, or you could just put them straight into your pages, start collaging right onto your papers if you want to keep going that way. And you may also find that when you lay everything out, you know, you only use a couple of the things, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You can change your mind.
you can change your mind, and maybe you're a what's called a maximalist. I think that's a really fun word. Maybe you're a more is more kind of person, and maybe you're going to use everything you cut out because you love it all and you just want to add more layers. And I find that people who really love to work in collage, they don't just glue things on. They glue things on and tear things off.
Oh.
Right? So they
make
alter
all these
it even,
layers.
so they make all these layers so that, you know, just because you put something on there at the beginning doesn't mean that it's going to make it all the way to the end.
Right.
I've really decided to make a bunch of hearts.
Mhm.
So I'm folding
No.
all different kinds of things and just cutting
I have
hearts.
this, right?
Roy, that's beautiful.
Thanks. You know, and I have these little wrinkles.
Me too.
That'll come. That comes out with time, and if it doesn't, it also doesn't matter because you're gonna cover it with other things. And let's see, I'm gonna use a little bit of this tape, maybe this little guy, or even just this painter's tape. Right, so I'm gonna show you.
As a design element? Oh, you're gonna just take
I'm
things
just
on. You're gonna
gonna-
make loops.
Uh-huh.
Oh, show me how to make a loop.
So take a little bit of tape, like that.
How'd you tear the tape off?
I fold a little bit, and I use both hands, right?
And you just pinched it? Okay, and then you pulled in the other direction? Okay.
And maybe this is a little bit long, so I'm gonna tear it in two. So now I have two pieces.
Oh.
And one of the things that you can do is you can set it very lightly on top of your roll of tape. So I have the next piece right there.
You can put it on the edge of your table
Mhm.
too.
On the edge of your table, but maybe you forget. Sometimes I forget when it's on the edge
Oh.
of the table, and then I have to look over. So then, what you want to do is you make a loop with the sticky side out. So I'm gonna fold this over, and then the other side over that. So then, a sticky bit connects to another piece of the tape. So then you have this sort of ring, and it's sticky on the outside.
It's a tape loop.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I'm going to put it on the back of this picture here, and then my other side, I'm going to put that on the other side. So now I have two tape loops, and I have a bunch of wrinkles right here, so I'm going to just put it right over those wrinkles. Right?
Oh, you're using your collage to cover up something you don't like.
Yeah, and because I'm using the tape, it doesn't make new wrinkles.
Oh, interesting.
Right, so here I have a bit of forest and lake, so I'm going to put that one over here. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
You're putting the forest up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Even though forests aren't usually in the sky.
Sky forest.
So you're saying you could make
You can do whatever you want.
a collage that doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Could you make a collage that's about like a different world?
You absolutely could.
That's cool.
Right, so
I hadn't thought about making a collage about crystal burn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So now you have this window into the sky, and the one thing that I did do is because I have this riverbank, I lined it up with the clouds, right? So you have this line, and it goes through on both sides. So that's something I didn't know before I started, and now it's part of the design. Okay. I think
Just
maybe this
rolling
big guy
with it.
will be for the inside, like that.
Oh, yeah. I like that a lot.
And what else? I want a few more things on the outside. So I think I want.
I wonder if you could use this yellow tape where it shows.
Oh, yeah. Well,
where
here.
you're not making a loop, but you're using the
Yeah.
tape as like a.
Actually,
We
let's
call that a
use that.
design element. And
Because
it's one of
something
my
that's visible.
favorite things to do with collage. You know what I really like to do is put a piece of tape over the whole thing, like from top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm going to do that on the spine here. That's the back of
Oh,
the
you
book.
are?
But you are right. That's a really good idea to take some of this tape. And what I'm going to do, this little tape is very delicate.
Oh, delicate tapes can be so frustrating.
Yeah, because it tears on the sides.
Yeah, they can tear on the sides. One of the tricks with tape is once you get it going, a lot of times you can get longer pieces. Ooh.
And you just do it very carefully.
Yeah, slow and
And
steady in the beginning.
This little bit that has all the tears, I'm going to take
rid
that
of that.
off. And I'll stick it onto another piece of paper. And so now, right, see right there I tore.
That's okay.
But I'm
That's
just
gonna
going
look
to
really
use
beautiful.
it.
Yeah, no,
And
I tore my pieces on purpose.
What I want to do is I'm going to put tape right here on the spine. So I'm going to put this tape all the way across right into the spine and go over right onto the back.
Whoa.
So now I know that maybe something like this is big enough. Oh, look at that.
You might need a buddy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Long pieces of tape, if you don't have a buddy, one of the things you can do is use the table as your buddy. So sometimes I'll start a piece of tape down onto the table, and then I'll lift it up and see how far I want it to go, and then I'll do that like pinch, pinch, pull, where I pinch on either side and then tear like that.
That's great.
And then I can lift it back up off the table.
It's a good looking piece of tape.
I know, it's really beautiful. It's like this kind of see-through orange duct tape. And I got a little piece of magazine on there, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you too, some of you got these big rolls of tape in your kits. And we were actually just covering cardboard boxes the other night in tape. And I was showing our older daughter that you can take this and you can tear it down the middle. Ooh, maybe. This one doesn't want to do it.
Harder.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that maybe you just do a collage only with tape.
Only with
right?
tape.
So maybe you have a bunch of tape.
Oh, yeah.
It could also just be one color. I used to make a lot of things just with the silver duct tape. Right?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like this idea a lot.
The other thing here with this tape is that I have this little pocket right here, this little ridge. So I'm going to start with that and push that into that little well and then go over the edge here. Right? And then come over and put it down. And it's kind of see-through. That's funny. I didn't know that. Okay.
All right. So you covered your whole book.
And I'm going to do this on the edge here.
Ooh.
Actually, let's see. I'm going to use one. Here we go. So one piece. Turn it around. Put the tape on the inside. And then here's another piece. So that's about big enough. Right there. And I'm putting it not in the crease, just right to the edge. And I make sure that everything is sticking down.
Yeah.
Right. And turn it around. And here we go.
You know, we're showing you how to make everything lay flat right now. But because we're laying this contact paper over it, you could actually have some things that are kind of sticking up.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we have a friend, Christy, and she does a lot of really amazing collage work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things she does is she cuts what I call fringe.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll take the edge of a piece of paper and she'll just cut it, cut. So she'll hold it right like this and use the scissors here, and then you just sort of cut, and you could easily do this and make some really fun textures and then put the contact paper over that. And it makes all this fun. This is a great way to make grass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what we should do.
I'm using some parts of the magazine, so all of these words, and I tore them down into strips. And I'm not even paying attention that they're right side up. So one is right side up, the other one is upside down. And I'm just going to go all the way across. And I'm leaving some gaps between them right here. This one I'm going to use a little bit of this glue so that I get right inside of the edge here.
I went back to the grouchy ladybug and I found some big green, and so I can make some actual grass.
Actual paper grass.
Real fake. It's real fake grass.
Okay. So right here I have a little gap right here. I can just do this.
Whoop! Tore it. I guess it's shorter now. Oh yeah. Okay. All sorts of crazy things going on here. And I think I'm going to build mine, Roy, without any glue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to
do a challenge.
Just tape. And sometimes what I'll look for when I'm laying out my compositions, we haven't talked about that word, composition, is the way that you're arranging things. Oh, you were going to talk about how I handed you the scissors.
How you handed me these scissors. Right, so we're teaching this to our daughters, and sometimes we have to remind them, if you're giving scissors to somebody, you hold it by the blade like this, and you give them the handle.
So that I can grab the handle instead of grabbing the sharp part. Yeah. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I was just going to say, I really like in my compositions, right? That's kind of a big word, but you might have heard the word composer before. You might have even heard the word composition in writing, because it gets used a lot in class when we're talking about writing. But it's basically the arrangement of objects on your page. So the way that you want everything to look, you're arranging them, you're composing them. So you are an artist and a composer, right?
It's another word also which is similar to organizing it.
Right? Definitely. And I have these cottonwoods that I mentioned before, and I just noticed that if I turn them on their side, I have two straight edges, like a 90-degree angle, which will look really nice on my book. And then when I put it down, it kind of made the same shape as the side of the prickly pear.
Oh, nice.
So I like when things sort of echo each other.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And maybe sometimes you just have to play with where you're going to put things.
That's what Bob Ross used to call a happy little accident. Right? Another way of talking about that is spontaneity.
Oh, yeah.
Where something happens and it's spontaneous. It was not planned.
You didn't plan it. I think most of collage is pretty spontaneous.
Or you're also improvising.
Ooh.
Right? So you are...
To improvise. You're sort of not making it up as you go, but you're responding to the things that you have.
Exactly. So now, this is what I have.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Right,
They're kind of like rain.
Oh, yeah.
right?
A
It's
little
kind
bit.
of like
Yeah.
rain coming down.
You have these leaves. I like how that looks with these three.
And look, you have
And-
the same color.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that was not really planned, but it's more of a feeling.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
And we should talk about odd and even numbers.
I didn't know if we were going to talk about numbers at all.
Yeah,
so,
we should.
I cut out a bunch of hearts.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, should I have an odd or an even number of hearts?
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, maybe the hearts could be my family members. So you could make shapes that are representations of people. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is me and this is Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is Cora and this is Sochi. So
Okay.
then I can have 4. I can have an even number of things with like a purpose.
Right.
And also I could have kind of equal weights, right? So that I have maybe 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and it kind of balances each other out. Or I could cut out 3 or 5 of something, right? Like here, I cut out 3 of these leaves, these big yellow leaves like you have too. So I have 1, 2, 3. And I know that on one side I can put 2, and on the other side I can put 1, and there'll be really nice balance. Even though this is a bigger number, and this is a smaller number, it's all by itself.
It's balanced like a triangle.
It's balanced like a triangle, and it's balanced like the color, right? Just like on yours.
Right. Where there's something on this side, so then there's another thing on this side.
On this side, yeah, definitely.
May I use these bats?
You
right
can
here?
use those bats. I have gone away from the bats. As much as I love the bats, I have gone into the joy of leaves and flowers and trees over here. So I'm just kind of making leaves and flowers and trees.
Okay.
Which is perfect for me. I'm going to use the masking tape because it's really easy for me to just make a bunch of tiny pieces and set things down as loops and get them ready to go. Uh-oh.
All right. So what we are going to do is we're going to finish up our journal covers.
And then we'll have to do the contact paper and the binding.
Yeah.
So let's finish these up. Quick.
Okay.
And then we will do one of ours as a contact paper. We'll show how to do it together. It's really much easier to do it with a buddy.
Right.
So if you are home alone, you can kind of use the table like I did with the tape. But if you have somebody else to use the contact paper with, it's much easier. Yeah.
So I think they should come back for the next video.
Yeah.
Where we do the contact paper.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So we'll just finish these up really quickly. And Roy's mentioned some really good things, and his looks so good. Can we look at it again really quickly? So you've brought in some tape along here. You've made the same shape twice, which is really fun. You used a huge image for both sides of your book, so you have this thing that like leads you all the way through. And then you have this fun yellow color in your tape, in your leaf, and then when you turn it, it also has the repetition of the yellow and the blue here. So you have some really good.
And I think I may also use this one. So if this gets covered, which I think it may get covered, I will also put this over here.
Oh, I like that, to bring it back forward.
Right, and then this guy, these bats,
and
are a little bit like the prickly pear, so I'm going to use them together.
Okay, so we'll finish up, and then the next part will be with our contact paper. And then we'll do the binding separately as well. Okay. So you can kind of do it in stages.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.